Hi, Elle Ingalls here at pressure-free.com, elleingles.com. Welcome to my show, Living Pressure Free with Elle. Topic today is anxiety. I'm focused mostly on children, though not just school-age children, but adult children too. Lately, I've heard from almost every parent I've talked to that there's someone in their family, usually a child, either adult child or student, who is experiencing high anxiety, general anxiety disorder. Sometimes they've been diagnosed that. There's just so much anxiety going on today. And so it's like every family that I've talked to recently has had at least one child where it's becoming pretty serious. So I really want to address that today, and also some of the other things that I hear from parents. Some of the things I hear is my child has a lack of motivation. My child can't focus. My child is very confused by the lack of stability with schooling. Is it hybrid? Is it this? Is it that? So the lack of structure has really been an issue for them. In some cases they've had COVID, and so there have been some side effects that I've been learning about too, which is really, and if you heard them, it was shocking, like what's happening to some students today. So, but really all of these things, you think, oh, it's a mental health issue. It's a lack of focus. There's a focus issue. It's a motivation issue. But really what it is a stress hormone release issue. It's a stress issue. Even things like your child has to go to the bathroom a lot. They get really nervous and they have to go to the bathroom a lot. That's not a bladder issue. That's an anxiety issue. It's a stress hormone release issue. So pretty much everything that is chronic, including those little stomach pains. So I've run into parents for decades. Some of them were my violin students, someone in my own family growing up, a lot of stomach issues during those middle school years. That's a stress hormone release issue. So I just stand so firmly. I so believe that if we can get to the root of it, which is stress hormone release, that so many of these symptoms that are showing up today in students, adult children as well, don't need to happen. That suffering does not need to happen. Those daily stomach aches, those don't need to happen. Once you have an understanding of how to not release these stress hormones. So what are these stress hormones? There's two floods of stress hormones. The first, and it's a cocktail, okay? So it's a group of chemicals that goes out to prepare you to fight or run away. That's what fight or flight is. There's people also freeze, or they'll tell little lies, they'll fib, or they'll fawn, they're over flattering. So we have different things we do when we're afraid, when we're nervous, when we're starting to trigger that fight or flight stress response. So fight or flight, the first flood of hormones goes out, and what that does is prepare us to violently fight or run away. But it doesn't help us focus because we've basically shut down our whole outer brain. We can't make decisions, we have no willpower, we can't think and remember and lodge memories. So your child could be sitting through school all day and not lodging any memories because before they got to school, they triggered fight or flight. They were nervous when they first woke up. Maybe they were nervous because something going on with their peers. By the way, I'm hearing that a lot these days, that with all the hybrid models and half the school going in, some of my clients who are super social, that's really thrown a monkey wrench into how they experience school. Maybe they're not with their best friends, and now it's just really changed friendships. I've run into students who say, yeah, some of my friends don't go to school at all. They're only doing virtual, so friendships are getting really messed up for students. They're already hard enough. Go back in time to when you were in junior high or high school. It's already hard enough, and we've layered all of this on here on top as well. Helping your child become emotionally resilient so they don't trigger fight or flight is the answer. It's the answer to more focus. It's the answer to more motivation. It's the answer to getting their body from having all of these nasty symptoms, the migraines and headaches. If you have migraines, headaches, if your child has migraines and headaches, that's a stress issue. If they have those stomach aches, that's a stress issue. If they have to pee a lot, that's a stress issue. If they're hyperactive, that's a stress issue. If they're jiggling their leg, ding, 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 or clicking pens, or biting their nails, or being fidgety, that's a stress issue. When you don't trigger fight or flight, you don't exhibit those behaviors so much. In fact, it actually gets to the point where you don't exhibit them at all. Even adults who I've worked with who are fingernail biters, they suddenly have fingernails growing. I had a client who had to ask their daughter how to cut them because they had never had fingernails before. So these are all symptoms. What I love to tell my clients is, okay, so if you're feeling these things, if you're experiencing these things, don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. You were never taught how to be able to not release those hormones. You weren't taught that. Nobody has taught you that, or you wouldn't be in the state you are in. So you've been this way for a long time, so don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. You didn't have the knowledge. The pressure-free method is the knowledge. It is truly a revolution in mental and physical well-being. That's what it is. And when you start to use this method, basically everything mentally and everything physically can shift for you. It can shift for you in ways that I can't even imagine, because every client that I work with, it's like there's a whole new realization for how pressure-free has helped them, because everybody's so different. I'm going to be launching some very cool new programs, some group programs, as well as my one-on-one coaching in a whole different way. It's always changing and shifting here at Pressure Free because I'm learning more. And so stay tuned, because there's going to be some really cool stuff coming up, and you won't want to miss it. Like, it's really going to be life-changing for the people who decide to start working with me on this. But when it comes to our students, my heart is really going out to parents right now. It's such a difficult time. And you're suffering too. If you are a parent, you're suffering too, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you failed as a parent and seeing your child struggle. I don't think there's anything worse than that, and feeling helpless about it. Like, what can I do? So this is what you can do. Connect to me. Just connect to me. Just have one conversation, because I truly stand for the fact that there should be so much less suffering than what we have today. It's not necessary. And there's so many factors that are keeping people locked in the stress cycle. So breaking it can take a little patience and time, but I'm here for you. I'm very patient with my clients. If you ask them, they will tell you that I never push them. It's not that kind of coaching. That's not what works in Pressure Free. It's just the opposite. We need to play. So with my students too, they love this. And I can't tell you how many of my students will say, like, after the first session, they come back to me and they're so grateful. And they go, I can do this. Even the ones who have had serious mental illness are like, I can do this. So I stand for you. I believe in you. I believe in your children, whether they're adult children or young children, students. I believe in their ability to learn this. I believe in their ability to switch and change and no longer be locked in the stress cycle 24/7, which is pretty much what everybody is today. That is a huge realization. Most people don't know, but it's why we act so crazy. It's why we have so much unhappiness and why people feel so stuck today too. So I hope you'll reach out if you want some help. Again, I'm shifting programs, so the things that I'm offering today, those are going to be going away. So we're going to be changing some things at Pressure Free. If you want to have a conversation and get on that bandwagon before we launch the new one, then reach out to me. But in the next couple weeks, you're going to see some brand new stuff coming out, and I hope you'll join in. So have a great, it's a beautiful day here. Look at Michigan sky. I'm out in the swamp. It's very cool. Cattails. Have a great Pressure Free day. Oh, someone gave me some love. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Bye.